Welcome to Cruise News, your daily update on everything happening at sea. Visit cruisenews.io to see today's stories and sign up for email alerts. Today we are looking at a future where cruise lines do not just control the ship you sail on, but the physical ground you walk on.
Right, and even the exact soundtrack you hear when the sun disappears during a total solar eclipse.
Exactly. Today's briefing examines how the maritime industry is, engineering completely controlled end-to-end environments for travelers.
It is a massive shift.
Yeah. We have the start of sea trials for a new LNG-powered megaship, some major equity shifts in Mediterranean cruise port infrastructure, and highly specialized science-driven programming for the upcoming 2026 total solar eclipse.
It really is a fascinating evolution in the industry's operational strategy. I mean, the goal is no longer just moving people from point A to point B.
Right.
It is about absolute environmental management. And, well, that level of control begins with the hardware itself. We're seeing this clearly with the fleet expansion updates from MSC Cruises.
Ah, yes. The MSC World Asia.
Exactly. As of July 15th, their newest vessel, MSC World Asia, has officially left the Chantiers de l'Atlantique shipyard in Saint-Nazaire, France.
Okay, so it has entered its first round of sea trials.
Yes, which is a critical milestone. It marks the beginning of the final technical phase before the ship's scheduled delivery in late November.
And for those keeping track of the timeline, assuming these trials go well, the ship is slated for its passenger debut on December 4th, 2026.
Right.
Following that handover, it is going to be deployed year-round in the Western Mediterranean.
Sailing out of Barcelona, right.
Yes, home port operations out of Barcelona, and the regular service itinerary includes calls at Marseille, Genoa, Civitavecchia, Messina, and Valletta. So it is a deployment that effectively blankets the key destinations across Spain, France, Italy, and Malta.
That is a dense route.
It is. But let us talk about these sea trials for a second, because they're not just a quick spin around the harbor. This is an LNG-powered vessel, which adds a whole layer of technical complexity.
Precisely. LNG, or liquefied natural gas, represents a significant shift in marine propulsion.
Because it burns cleaner.
Much cleaner than traditional heavy marine fuel oil. And that is a major factor for ships operating in heavily regulated European waters. So during these current trials, engineers are pushing the vessel to its absolute limits.
What exactly are they testing out there?
They are conducting rigorous testing of the engines, evaluating overall maneuverability, mapping out the exact fuel efficiency metrics under various loads, and, of course, stressing the safety systems.
Right. They need to ensure the real-world performance actually matches the theoretical blueprints before handing the keys over.
Exactly. And to really grasp the operational footprint we are discussing here, we have to look at the sheer scale of the hardware.
It is massive.
It really is. MSC World Asia is a 333.3-meter vessel.
Wow. For context, that is significantly longer than 3 football fields laid end-to-end.
Yeah, and it carries a maximum capacity of approximately 6,760 passengers.
Plus the crew.
Right. Supported by 2,142 crew members, the accommodation plan alone packs in more than 2,580 cabins.
And this is the third vessel in their world-class fleet, coming right on the heels of MSC World Europa, which launched back in 2022, and MSC World America, which debuted in 2025.
And their ambitions do not stop there. The world-class order book extends well beyond World Asia.
They have 5 more ships expected through 2031, right?
Yes. To give you a sense of where this capacity is heading, the next vessel in the series, MSC World Atlantic, is already scheduled for delivery in 2027.
And that ship is planned to sail year-round from Port Canaveral, operating alongside MSC World America to basically dominate the Caribbean market.
That is the strategy, yeah.
I have to stop you there, though, because whenever we look at these specifications, a massive operational question presents itself.
The crowds.
Yes. We are talking about nearly 9,000 human beings on board between passengers and crew. I mean, I have been to small towns with fewer people.
It's as a floating municipality.
Exactly. So how does a cruise line actually manage the traffic flow and daily consumption for 6,800 passengers without this ship turning into one giant chaotic line for the buffet?
Well, it is a brilliant feat of urban planning, really. The traffic management strategy relies entirely on the strategic distribution and just the sheer volume of onboard venues.
So you manage a crowd of that size by fracturing it?
Yes, you break it into dozens of smaller crowds. MSC has detailed that World Asia will feature more than 40 distinct bars, lounges, cafes, and restaurants.
40? Wow.
Yeah, and within that number, there are 19 dedicated dining venues. If you break the dining down further, they are offering 6 specialty restaurants, 6 main dining concepts, plus an exclusive restaurant reserved just for guests in the MSC Yacht Club.
And various fast casual options scattered throughout the vessel, I assume.
Exactly.
But it is not just about having a lot of rooms, is it? It is about how those spaces function dynamically.
Right.
For instance, there is a new Pan-Asian venue on board that is particularly interesting from a logistical standpoint.
Oh, the 3-in-1 concept.
Yeah. It functions as a sit-down specialty restaurant, a bar and lounge, and a complimentary on-the-go window all at once.
That 3-in-1 design is an incredibly efficient use of square footage. By serving different demographics, the sit-down dinner crowd, the evening cocktail crowd, and the quick lunch crowd in one single footprint, they maximize utility.
Without taking up 3 times the space.
Precisely. Stefan Francini, the senior director of food and beverage product at MSC Cruises, noted that this concept invites guests to explore one of the world's most exciting food colors.
The menu sounds fantastic, too.
It really does. It draws specific culinary influences from Indonesia, Singapore, South China, Thailand, and Vietnam.
So highly specific regional items.
Yes, like Singapore-style prawns, shiitake mushroom fried rice, bao buns, and Southeast Asian-inspired cocktails.
And that elevates the culinary offering while efficiently moving hundreds of people through the space daily.
Exactly.
Well, alongside the dining venues, the retail and specialty food spaces play a massive role in pulling passengers away from the high-traffic areas, like the pool deck.
Yes, and that brings us to the chocolate.
Right. MSC is installing a massive 300-square-meter Venchi chocolate store, which they are locating in the Deck 6 Galleria district.
Which is huge for a cruise ship.
It is. It will have seating for more than 60 guests and operates as a combined boutique, cafe, and gelateria.
And, placing a 300-square-meter attraction on Deck 6 is a very intentional psychological lever.
How so?
It naturally pulls pedestrian traffic down into the ship's interior promenades, which eases congestion on the upper decks.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and the space itself is highly programmed. It will feature live chocolate making and offer custom bars, espresso, crepes, gelato, and chocolate-infused cocktails.
And from a product rollout perspective, Venchi is utilizing this partnership to introduce a limited Crunchy Waves flavor.
Right, which is rolling out selectively. It will be available at chosen Venchi land-based stores from August 1st to the 31st. Then it hits MSC Seaside-class ships starting in August, and it will eventually become a staple on MSC World Asia.
Once the ship enters active service.
Correct.
Well, if you are building ships that hold nearly 7,000 passengers, you inevitably run into a parking problem.
You absolutely do.
To support year-round Mediterranean deployments of megaships like MSC World Asia, the region requires massive, highly efficient port infrastructure.
Because most historic Mediterranean ports simply were not built to handle floating cities.
Right. And this operational necessity directly connects to today's second major story, which is regarding the corporate consolidation of Mediterranean cruise ports by global operators.
Yes, that brings us to the recent financial filings by Global Yachtyrum Holding.
Which is the parent company of Global Ports Holding, or GPH.
Exactly. We are seeing major equity shifts in 2 vital European cruise gateways. First, GPH has finalized the purchase of Royal Caribbean Group's remaining minority interest in Kusadasi Cruise Port.
Okay.
Concurrently, in a separate agreement, GPH has signed on to acquire an additional 10% of Lisbon Cruise Port from Royal Caribbean.
Let us break down the Turkish transaction first. GPH subsidiary Global Liman Islet Mellery has officially increased its stake in EJ Liman Islet Mellery, which is the specific operator of the Kusadasi port, from 90.47% to 99.99%.
Effectively, this transaction completely removes Royal Caribbean from the shareholder base at that location.
Right. And for anyone sailing the Eastern Mediterranean, Kusadasi is a critical destination. It serves as the primary cruise gateway to the ancient ruins of Ephesus.
It is a massive facility featuring 8 dedicated berths.
But looking at the volume, the port handled 617 cruise calls and processed 995,303 cruise passengers in 2025. That is a notable surge from the roughly 821,000 passengers they recorded in 2024.
And GPH is not new to this specific facility either. They have operated and developed EJ Port Kusadasi for 22 years, dating all the way back to 2004.
Wow, okay, so the Portuguese transaction is equally significant then.
It really is. GPH has signed a share purchase agreement to acquire half of Royal Caribbean's 20% stake in the Lisbon Cruise Port.
So this agreement lifts GPH's indirect holding in the terminal from 50% to 60%.
Yes. Once official authority approvals are finalized, this grants them clear majority control over the Portuguese capital's cruise infrastructure.
Now, let me translate the specific corporate financial phrasing used in these filings, because I think it reveals why this matters to the business.
These do.
The documents note that upon completion, the Lisbon port will move into GPH's consolidated financial statements as a fully consolidated subsidiary, changing its prior treatment as an equity pickup entity.
Right.
Think of an equity pickup like being a silent investor in a restaurant.
Yeah.
You just get a check at the end of the month for your proportional share of the net income, and it goes on your ledger as a single line item. But transitioning to a fully consolidated subsidiary means you essentially bought the place. Their electric bill is now your electric bill. Their kitchen equipment is your kitchen equipment, and you are managing every revenue and expense line by line.
GPH is shifting from holding a significant investment to asserting total operational and financial control over the asset.
And the history of this specific Lisbon asset helps explain why GPH wants that total control.
Yes, GPH and Royal Caribbean have actually been partners in Lisbon since 2014. At that time, they were part of a larger consortium that was awarded a 35-year concession to build and operate a new cruise terminal.
And that project required a €22 million investment.
Right. From the start, GPH served as the lead investor with a 40% stake, while Royal Caribbean held 20%.
The result of that investment was the Jardim de Pabaco terminal, which officially opened in late 2017 near the Santa Apollonia railway station.
And the infrastructure is highly capable. It can process 4,500 passengers simultaneously from multiple ships.
It currently operates with an annual capacity of approximately 800,000 passengers.
However, the original concession outlined a very ambitious target to increase Lisbon's overall cruise traffic from historical levels of around 550,000 passengers toward a goal of 1.8 million.
So if you were planning a Mediterranean cruise in 2026, this corporate consolidation actually matters to your vacation experience.
It really does.
It means the company managing the region's ports is operating on an incredibly vast scale. These two terminals in Kusadasi and Lisbon integrate into a broader GPH network that now encompasses 31 cruise ports across 18 countries.
That is a massive footprint. And the holding company recently reported that cruise calls across its entire global portfolio increased 9% year over year in June 2026.
With passenger movements rising 10% compared to June 2025. Though it should be noted for accuracy that GPH has not yet announced a firm completion date for the Lisbon share transfer to be finalized.
Right. But that expansive and highly managed nature of this European port network is exactly what provides cruise lines with the operational certainty they need.
Because when you have reliable, high-capacity infrastructure across dozens of countries, you can plan complex, specialized itineraries years in advance.
Exactly. This operational flexibility is precisely what operators are leveraging for one of the most anticipated maritime events of the decade.
The upcoming total solar eclipse in August 2026.
Yes.
The deployment strategies surrounding this astronomical event are fascinating. Virgin Voyages has just published detailed onboard and shoreside programming for two specific solar eclipse voyages.
These are scheduled around the August 12, 2026 eclipse.
Which is a major draw because it will be the first total solar eclipse visible from mainland Europe since 1999.
Right, and the specific path of totality will cross western Iceland, the North Atlantic, northern Spain, and the Mediterranean waters just east of the Balearic Islands.
Virgin's itineraries are being marketed as part of its Marvelous Voyages collection.
And to capture this event, Virgin is deploying two of its Lady-class ships, effectively dividing their strategy between northern and southern viewing environments.
Let us go through them.
Okay, so Valiant Lady will operate a 15-night solar eclipse, Iceland and British Isles itinerary from August 5 to 20. This sailing operates round-trip from Portsmouth, England, and positions the adult-only ship in northern waters during the eclipse period.
And the route itself is extensive, including port calls at Dublin, Glasgow, Liverpool, Belfast, Siglufjordur, Isafjordur, Reykjavik, and Edinburgh.
Yes. Meanwhile, Scarlet Lady will capture the event from the south.
Operating a 12-night solar eclipse, Barcelona to Rome, itinerary from August 10 to 22.
Right. calling at Palma de Mallorca, Ibiza, Cannes, Ajaccio, Tuscany, and the Saint-Nazaire region, the Amalfi Coast, and Catania, before finally disembarking in Rome.
These 2 sailings are actually part of a broader 8-sailing summer 2026 collection that also includes Brilliant Lady, covering destinations ranging from the Panama Canal to Istanbul, Santorini, Morocco, the Emerald Isles, and the Scottish Highlands.
Now, it is important to note that Virgin is certainly not alone in targeting this celestial event.
No, the market for the 2026 Eclipse is highly saturated.
Extremely. Other operators and travel sellers have actively promoted Eclipse sailings on a wide array of ships. Princess Cruises is utilizing both the Enchanted Princess and Sun Princess.
Royal Caribbean is deploying Liberty of the Seas, and Celebrity Cruises is utilizing Celebrity Apex.
We are also seeing highly specialized offerings aboard Ambassador's Ambition, Fred Olsen's Balmoral, and AE Expeditions' Sylvia Earle.
With that latter voyage being organized through New Scientist Discovery Tours, so the demand from consumers is clearly present. Some solar eclipse sailings from Saga Cruises and Holland America Line have already completely sold out.
Which is incredible.
It is, but it raises a key question of competitive advantage for the industry. Why book a cruise for this? How does a maritime vessel provide a distinct operational benefit over simply booking a hotel in northern Spain and watching it from land?
It is a fair question, and Kevin Curry, the director of New Scientist Discovery Tours, provided some excellent clarity on this.
What did he say?
He stated that ships serve as highly useful Eclipse platforms primarily due to their mobility.
Ah, of course.
Yeah, a ship can actively monitor weather patterns and physically relocate to find clear skies if a cloud bank rolls in.
You can't do that with a hotel.
Exactly. Furthermore, Curry noted that viewing from a ship's top deck provides guests with what he called adequate space.
Meaning you are entirely avoiding the terrestrial obstructions you might find on land, such as buildings, mountains, and uneven local terrain.
Right. But because the market is so crowded, Virgin Voyages is attempting to differentiate its specific Eclipse product, not just by being in the path of totality, but through specialized personnel and highly structured onboard programming.
Nathan Rosenberg, Virgin's Chief Brand Experience Marketing and Momentum Officer, perfectly summarized their strategy. He stated, "We're selling the 2 minutes the sky goes dark over the ocean, next to the people who've actually been up there."
And to execute this, they are bringing NASA astronauts, astrophysicists, commercial spaceflight figures, and science communicators on board both ships.
Wow, so actual industry professionals. Yes. This includes scheduled Q&A sessions with Will Whitehorn and other figures from Virgin Galactic, alongside astronaut talks focusing on what life is actually like in orbit. The educational programming extends well beyond just lectures, too. It moves into specific skill acquisition and wellness sessions.
Oh, absolutely. Virgin has scheduled solar physics sessions focusing on the mechanics of totality and safe viewing protocols.
They're also offering an Eclipse photography class dedicated entirely to phone-based image capture.
Which is brilliant because everyone is going to use their phones.
Right. They will specifically instruct passengers on how to properly photograph solar phenomena like the corona, Baily's beads, and the diamond ring effect without ruining their smartphone sensors.
Furthermore, the onboard schedule incorporates a Dharma, teaching, and energy session precisely timed to coincide with the eclipse itself.
The most fascinating element of their strategy, though, is what happens during the actual period of totality. Virgin is implementing a highly controlled environmental strategy by dividing the deck spaces into 3 distinct acoustic and atmospheric formats.
Yes, so guests are not just wandering the deck. They can choose the exact vibe they want.
The options include silent watch areas for quiet reflection, zones featuring a live musical score designed to swell as the sun disappears, and spaces providing real-time expert narration explaining the astronomical phases as the sky darkens.
And that level of curation even extends to the shore excursions, which the line brands as shore things.
The specialized programming dictates very different experiences depending on which ship you are on.
Right. For passengers on the northern route aboard Valiant Lady, the options include a visit to the historic Armagh Observatory, accompanied by a cider tasting in Belfast,
as well as a rugged coastal drive along the Troll Peninsula that concludes with a geothermal swim in Isafjordur.
Meanwhile, for passengers on the Mediterranean route aboard Scarlet Lady, the excursions lean into the regional atmosphere.
Like a visit to the Genova Caves in Majorca, and a combined yoga and sound bath session at the Jardins de Palermo in Ibiza.
You know, the common thread across today's briefing is the aggressive pursuit of total environmental control to guarantee a highly specific passenger experience.
It really is everywhere.
We see this scale in the massive footprint and strategically localized venues, of 6,700 passenger ships like MSC World Asia. We see it in the consolidated financial control of the port infrastructure being executed by global operators like Global Ports Holding in Kusadasi and Lisbon.
Yeah.
And we see it right down to the curation of exact acoustic zones for celestial events by Virgin Voyages. It makes you wonder if these operators are already engineering the exact acoustics of a solar eclipse in the middle of the ocean. How long until they stop visiting traditional historic cities altogether and simply build their own private, perfectly controlled ports of call entirely across the Mediterranean?
Thanks for listening to Cruise News. Visit cruisenews.io to catch up on the latest updates and sign up for free email alerts.